Show me what you got.
How do you know these things?
You mean I'm right?
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Mock Draft Tuesday on Steelers Sanctuary. I'm Bob Quinn, and thanks everybody for joining and watching. If you have comments or you want to play along, please feel free to let me know, and let's talk about how we're going to work the draft today. All right, so we're going to use the PFF Mock Draft Simulator again. A couple of small changes. We're going to move the slider for the public versus PFF board a little bit closer to the D. Basically, it's as close to the D as I could get it. Their slider doesn't work very well. And then care for positional value, I also moved over a little bit because, let's face it, teams that have quarterbacks already aren't necessarily going to be looking to draft quarterbacks in the first round. It does happen in the simulators sometimes. Draft needs didn't touch, and randomness also didn't touch. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's take a look at what we've got, and here we go. All right, so we're starting the draft. Going to take a look here. Looks like we have 10 trade offers, and I'm guessing that's because Ashton Jeanty has somehow fallen down the draft board. Doesn't fall that often. Let's take a look at what people are offering. We got the Vikings with pick 24 want to move up. The Rams want to move up at pick 26. Eagles at 31. Browns at 33. Nah, we ain't trading with them. Giants at 34. So, yeah, there's some options here. Actually, the Patriots at 38. Yeah, all the way down to 52. Let's see what we can fleece from the Rams. So, let's say we swap the 21st for the 26th. They also have the 90th pick, and maybe we can get a player thrown in. Maybe some guy who's maybe looking to leave the Los Angeles Rams, or they're looking to leave. They're saying that wouldn't be accepted, but let's take a look and try it. So, Cooper Kupp in the 26th. Nah. Let's go back to Minnesota for a second. You know what? No, I think we're going to draft a player here. I'm not sold on Ashton Jeanty as a first-round pick. I don't think he's a Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs type, so I'm going to pass him by here. Jack Sawyer is interesting, but I don't think edge is big enough of a need. I know a lot of people will probably like Matthew Golden here. I want to see what he runs in the combine, so for now, I've been watching tape. I like the idea of a corner here, but I've been watching tape on Kenneth Grant, and B+, A- type of talent. It is a position of need. I do think he would be a big help in the running game. I don't know that he's quite the pass rusher that Cam is, but after giving up nearly 300 yards rushing in the AFC wildcard game, I'm going to go with Kenneth Grant here, because I do like him over guys like Tyleik Williams. I think he's a better fit in the 3-4. Can kind of move him around a little bit, but he's a little bit faster than Keanu Benton. So Benton and Kenneth Grant defensive line is something I can get behind. Now we move into the second round. There's some interesting players here. I know if you watch our podcast, Dave is real high on Dylan Sampson. He's probably the fastest back in the draft. I don't love the idea of going for a running back in the second round either. Two wide receivers I really like, Savion Williams and Jaden Higgins, are both here. So I'm going to lean towards Jaden Higgins here, but I am going to just kind of scoot down the board a little bit so we can see what else is out there. A lot of offensive tackles. Look, maybe we do need one. Maybe Broderick and Fatano aren't the answer, but damn it, we can't go 3 years in a row drafting an offensive lineman at this high. So I'm going to go with the guy who I think is the steadier, safer pick. I think Savion probably has a little more upside, and this could very much change at the combine. But I think Jaden Higgins is only getting better. He's a big receiver. He's best over the middle of the field. He's kind of that how Juju was his last year. Maybe a little bit of a glorified tight end, but he's got really good hands. He's a big guy. He's a hard guy to press. So I'm going to take Jaden Higgins here. So let's take a look and see where we go. All right. So at pick 85 here, I like Azariah Thomas as a cornerback, and I'm certainly leaning towards taking him here. Mason Taylor's pretty intriguing. Trey Harris, I think, is a really good vertical threat. If we'd gone corner in the first round, we maybe could have gone with a guy that everybody loves, Deion Walker. He is an SEC guy. I'm not 100% sold on him. Maybe maybe by the time the combine rolls around. But for this exercise, we need corner help. Azariah Thomas, he's a good player. He's not Siobhan Ravel or Amos or any of those guys, but he is a solid corner. He's a top 10 corner in this draft. A little bit taller. I like him. Not as big as Ravel. Let's take him here. Let's shore up three positions of need, but I also feel like we got three very good players here so far. Round 4. Okay, so all of you salivating over Jalen Milroe, stop it. We're not picking him. Riley Leonard, no. Jackson Dart, okay. If Dave was doing this draft, maybe, but I'm doing it, so no, we're not picking Jackson Dart either. So we're going to roll down a little bit and take a look at some guys we may need. I like Damian Martinez a lot. I do think he's going to be a very good pro running back. However, Torrey Horton is right here. Torrey Horton is a twitchy guy. We're getting a big, reliable, safe target for probably Justin Fields or whoever's playing quarterback. Hopefully not Russell Wilson. But let's just say here we do get move off of George Pickens. Horton is a true X. He's a good go route guy. He's a good hitch route guy. He does run well after the catch. His route tree's a little bit limited, but if we're replacing Pickens and the Lollipop Guild with two big, strong receivers, one guy is a burner. That's Torrey Horton. The other guy's reliable hands. Then we throw Calvin Austin in as our twitchy slot. I'm going to go Torrey Horton here, take another wide receiver. If you watched my mock draft last week, I took him in the 4th as well then. And our quarterbacks are here again. Quinn Ewers, Kyle McCord. However, last week we took a running back. We took Quinshon Judkins in the 3rd. I don't know that I'm doing that this time. So, I didn't do running back, so I don't know that I'm taking either one of these quarterbacks. I do like Kyle McCord over Quinn Ewers. Wouldn't be upset with either one, being this is the 5th round. However, running back is a real need, and there are some running backs available. So let's take a look. Kyle Monange, Marcus Yarns. You know, there's another guy I kind of really like here at the running back position, and that's, let's see if he's still here. I think Raheem Sanders, Jaquindon Jackson are guys I like, who I think if we roll the dice, we may get away with here. So, although Monange is probably a little more, you know what? We need a running back. Monange is a nice player. He's rushed for 1,000 yards a couple of years in a row. He's not a big back, more of a Jaylen Warren type. It's the 5th round. We got to have one. I'm going to do that rather than risk Sanders from South Carolina being available on the next pick. So let's see where it takes us here. All right, a lot of quarterbacks at the top of this. Honestly, I haven't watched enough tape on Brosmer to have an opinion here on him. Graham Mertz, I'm not a huge fan of. I've seen him play a little bit at the University of Florida. Tyler Shaw's kind of Shaw, however you say, it's kind of interesting guy from Louisville, but a guy I kind of like because we do need safety help in the 7th round here is Aubrey Burks from West Virginia. I think he's a guy who may be able to help on special teams. I think safety's a low key need based on what's available to us. I'm going to go ahead and pick him. And now with our final pick in the draft, number 249, it was kind of right to wait on Mertz because he's still here. Kyron Lacey, LSU wide receiver, but I can't see us taking 3 wide receivers. Matavo is kind of interesting prospect. Based on what we got here, I'm going to pick my man Tonka, who I love. I know he's going to be around late in the draft unless he posts some crazy combine numbers, but give me him because that's another young defensive lineman for depth, and he's a guy who I think can actually help us from that spot. Maybe not year one, but he is a guy who I do think we can develop. So let's take a look at what they thought. Obviously, I got dinged for not taking Ashton Jeanty with the 21st pick. Look, the Steelers took Najee Harris in the first round. I'm not saying Ashton Jeanty is Najee Harris, but I just can't see it. He's not a burner back. And if you're going to take one that high, I think he almost has to be as big a receiving threat as he is a running threat, like Jahmyr Gibbs is, like Bijan Robinson is. I mean, unless you're Saquon Barkley, and Ashton Jeanty ain't Saquon Barkley. Maybe he develops into that, but we need help now. So I'm going to take my little downgrade from PFF that I didn't take Ashton Jeanty and be happy with Grant. They gave me a B-, probably because I passed on him. Jaden Higgins, I got an A-. He's a guy, if he runs a good time at the combine, I could see him shooting up into the late first round. Azariah Thomas, the PFF likes him. I like him. He's a little bit taller corner. He's a good guy to have on the team. I would probably still, if I'm making the decision, I'm probably still maybe passing over Grant and going for Ravel or Amos. But I do like, the more I watch of Grant, the more I like him. 340 big. I think there's some real upside with him. Torrey Horton got a B+. Happy with that. Oh, the 4th round wide receiver. PFF hates it whenever you take a running back. Yeah, I like Trevor Etienne. He's a guy here. I like the idea of 2 decisive one-cut running backs here. I think Monangi is that. He's proven at the college level. Him and Jalen are both bowling balls, so it gives us a similar style. Maybe we can find a giant back somewhere, but I don't think you necessarily need a giant back to have success, especially in the running game. I think in this NFL, you got to have guys who run to the perimeter. And if Arthur Smith is going to keep running that fucking toss, then we need a guy who can maybe take that toss, which I think Jaylen Warren is that guy. I think Monangi, that's more of a 50-50 back. I would see ATN as more of a 60-40. Maybe Damian Martinez is a 60-40, where Jalen is the short side of that stick. Guy like Monangi here, I think it's a 50-50 range. Aubrey Burks, the secret's starting to get out on him. PFF likes that pick. I like that pick. I also think that there's some trouble in paradise if they ask Minka to take a pay cut. Worst case scenario, give us a good, strong third safety. We play more 3 safety sets than really anybody in the NFL. Tonka Hemingway, last pick of the draft. I really like Tonka Hemingway. If you haven't watched tape on him, go watch. If you're expecting, hey, this is like Colbert and Loudermilk, that he'll be some superstar who never really materializes, he's not that. But he could turn into a Brett Keisel-ish, really solid guy on the line for us and play with us for 5, 7, 10 years, hopefully, knock on wood, as it goes down the road. Overall grade's a B. I'm pretty happy with that. I think once we get nearer the combine, we'll start to post some A's. Obviously, if you use the mock draft simulator on PFF, I'll just give you a heads up. You want higher grades, draft corners, wide receivers. That's who they value. You pick interior defensive linemen. They don't love it so much. They don't love linebackers. They don't love halfbacks. So it is what it is. But anyway, that's what I got for this week. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, post them to me on social media, or let me know in the comments here on YouTube. We'll see you guys tomorrow night for a Steelers Sanctuary episode.
Ain't nothing over till it's over.
What's that from, the 80s?
Now what the fuck are we supposed to do?
This is disappointing as hell.
It's probably the 70s.
Saw that coming.
maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?
Yo, come back now, you hear?